What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Let me say something before I get into this video, man. Look, I know I was getting a lot of flack for that Angel Reese video, right? I get that, but one thing I won't tolerate, don't call me out my name, man. Okay? Don't do that. It's not that serious. Okay? Yeah, some of y'all act like y'all fucking this girl. It's not that serious. So, if it's that serious, then take your ass somewhere else and talk shit about me on another channel. But anyway, Donald Trump, man, look, man, at this point, ain't no spinning this, ain't no, well, see, brother, you gotta look deeper. I ain't gotta look at nothing. Okay, ain't nothing you can tell me that's gonna justify what he's saying. Either Donald Trump is extraordinarily delusional about a lot of stuff, or he is just grown so accustomed to lying that he'll just say whatever. Nobody ever that's another thing too. None of these people ever challenge him. They just let him talk and talk and talk and never challenge what he's saying. But anyway, he claims that in 2020 he won California. You heard me correctly. Wacky, super liberal, Democratic haven, California, where Trump's politics and him as a person are complete and total anathema. He claims he won the state, man, in 2020. Here he goes.
Donald Trump sat down for an interview on Tuesday with talk show personality Dr. Phil, and the interview contained the usual litany of bizarre claims by Trump, but one stuck out to us. It involved the results of the 2020 presidential election.
I look at California. I gave a speech. I had a crowd so big. I said, "There's no way I could lose California," but automatically they mark it down if you're a Republican as a loss. Then you lose by 5 million votes. I said, 5 million votes. I guarantee, if Jesus came down and was the vote counter, I would win California. Okay.
You know, 6 million people voted for Donald Trump in 2020 in California. So, yeah, you're going to draw large crowds in California. There are 39, 40 million people living in the state. So you're going to draw large crowds. The problem is 11 million people voting in the state voted for Biden. Okay? California is the most liberal state in the union. Look, when it comes to this conspiracy theory stuff, all right, look, I have my own opinions. If you're a Trump supporter and you're saying Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, if you talk about states like that, okay, I have my own opinions, but I can hear you. It makes sense. Okay, I can understand some of your arguments then. But if you're trying to tell me, even with all of the illegals, that somehow 11 million illegals were just snuck into the polls on election day. At this point, bro, we need to check your ass for senility. Okay? Either that or you're just delusional. He's saying some ridiculous off-the-wall stuff that nobody is challenging. Look, in the last days of the 1972 campaign, George McGovern was drawing huge crowds. Same thing with Walter Mondale. In 1984, he was getting huge crowds. Same thing with Mike Dukakis. Look it up. He was getting huge crowds. He thought he was getting momentum. The caucus won 10 states. McGovern and Mondale each won one goddamn state, buried in Nixon and Reagan landslides. Okay? Crowd size is not necessarily an indicator of how you're going to perform on election day. Hell, you can have organizers promising food, you know what I'm saying? Music, whatever. We didn't have social media back in them days, so any gathering, you're getting some good food, California, well, not necessarily California, but good food, you know, political rally, you know. A lot of people go to those things. That don't mean you're going to win. William Jennings Bryan was one of the great orators of his time, drawing thousands of people. He was the first presidential nominee to actively campaign. Before that, it was the political machinery that did the active campaigning, you know, pamphlets from a local grassroots level, local organizers, and the candidate normally just stayed at home or stayed within the vicinity of his state. Maybe gave a couple of speeches here or there. William Jennings Bryan was just 36 years old when he ran for president in 1896. 36 years old. He took advantage of his youth, and he crisscrossed the country via train and giving speeches. And it made a difference, but he still lost to a guy that sat on his porch in Ohio, having voters bust in and listen to him talk on his porch. But anyway, just to give a quick history about California. The last time a Republican carried that state on a presidential level was George Herbert Walker Bush in 1988. Okay? That's it. And even then, if you look at the numbers, even with Ronald Reagan in 1984, even though they both carried the state, Reagan in 84, Bush in 88, their margin in California was smaller than their national average. Was indicative of the fact that even then in the 80s, California was transitioning from a swing state with slightly skewed Republican to becoming a swing state that favored Democrats. And then ultimately, well, I'll get to that in a moment. Clinton carried it in 92 in a three-way race between Bush and Perot. He won it by 13 points. When he was reelected in 1996 against Dole and Perot, he was reelected by 13. He was reelected by 13 points, elected in 92 by 13 points. In 2000, Al Gore beat Bush in California by 12 points, even though he only won the popular vote nationally by 500,000. John Kerry beat Bush in California by 10 points, right? Bush was the last Republican to get a third of the vote in LA County, and Kerry was the last Democrat to get under 60% of the total vote in California. From 2008 onward, California has been a blue blizzard, okay? A blue blizzard. Barack Obama won the state by 24 points in 2008. Re-elected in 2012, he won the state by 23 points. Hillary Clinton beat Trump by 30 points in 2016. Biden beat Trump by 29 points in 2020. And Biden got 63% of the vote in 2020 in California, which is the highest percentage a Democratic or any candidate had gotten in California since Franklin Roosevelt got 67% of the vote in the 1936 landslide, national landslide. Now, why is this? Partially because of the fact the Republican Party has pushed progressively further to the right and is out of touch. And it's not a good fit. I can't say out of touch, but it's not a good fit for California. Collectively, California is secular. California is not really big. I'm talking in general. There are people who are conservative live there, but California is a much more liberal, progressive, gun control, environmental, everything that the Republican Party and Trump stands for. It's not a good fit for California. Okay, that's why Trump is struggling to get a third of the vote there. The last Republican to get elected governor was what? Schwarzenegger? And Schwarzenegger doesn't even really fit into the modern Republican Party. He's not a Trump supporter. He doesn't care for Trump. Schwarzenegger was really what we would call today a libertarian. He had some conservative views, some social, some liberal views. He was a moderate. But like I said before, the Republican Party used to have a larger tent. But a lot of Republicans, the moderate Republicans, some of them are independents now. Some of them moved to the Libertarian Party. Some of them are masquerading as Democrats. But then again, I've said the Democratic Party is not the same party it used to be. Not really. And to further emphasize my point, when it comes to registered voters, Democrats outnumber Republicans in the state 2-1. Democrats and independents outnumber Republicans by a 3-1 margin in the state. The California State Assembly, in the California State Assembly, 75% are Democrats. 75% of the State Assembly is Democrats. And of the 55 elected government representatives from California, 40 of the 55 are Democrats. So what is Donald Trump talking about, y'all? Come on, man. Even Trump supporters got to be like, Donald, shut up, man.